Welcome to WrestleRecap. I am Dylan Graives, once again being joined by John Sutton, here to bring you the SmackDown recap. But before we get started on that, if you want to support WrestleRecap, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can comment down below and let us know how we're doing. But with that being said, let's get into it. So SmackDown kicks off and we see that Cody and RKO are here. And then Jey Uso kicks the show off because, well, apparently the draft means nothing.
Not at this point.
I noted that it seems like Jay makes a joke about being lucky to have been allowed into Canada because of his history of DUIs.
Hell yeah.
And then Jay talks about winning Money in the Bank. And then LA Knight interrupts to kind of get the promo chain underway, as we'll go on to see everyone in the men's Money in the Bank match here. Knight says that Jay might be the odds-on favorite to win, and that he was the odds-on favorite last year.
Press X to doubt.
No, I think he was the favorite last year. He just didn't win. Knight says that he respects Jay for breaking away from the bloodline, and he's going to show him the respect by not showing him any respect at all. What?
Huh?
Knight says that it doesn't matter if it's Jay or any of the other goofs in the back, because they can all get stomped out. Knight tells Jay that he's used to hearing yeet, but tomorrow night he's going to hear all of Toronto saying, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the crowd goes, yeah. Jay and Knight then have a stare down, and then they have a yeet and a yeah off before Carmelo Hayes interrupts. Mello says that Toronto don't want to hear any of that. He says that the last time that he saw Knight, his head was so far up Logan's prime location, and tells Knight to let the people know what the new flavor tastes like. Another solid line from Mello. Makes me wonder how many times he had to practice it.
Too many.
I also would like to point out that the camera caught LA Knight chuckle a little bit, so the line got him to break character. Mello starts to address Jay, but then Chad Gable interrupts, and Chad says that he's been living in his own personal hell for the last 3 weeks, and the crowd chants, "You suck." Chad tells them to have a little empathy, and he starts going over his last 3 weeks, but Andrade interrupts. Andrade tells them that dreams don't win matches, and Drew McIntyre interrupts, and the crowd chants for CM Punk, because, naturally. Drew says that Punk's not here, but his family is always with him, and he shows off the bracelet that he stole from Punk. Drew says that the violence he inflicted on Punk is the same thing he's going to do to the rest of them, and then he wants to introduce us to his opponents. So Andrade's, just big chilling up in the corner, and Drew goes up by him and calls him El Idiot. He gets to
No.
He gets to Chad Gable, and he tells Gable that he just feels bad for him. Gable appreciates that. Drew says that Mello has a bright future, but he's not him, because he's looking up at him. Drew says the word that LA is going to need tomorrow is no. It's,
Yeah.
that's a little much. And then Drew asks Jay how he even got across the border.
Ruthless.
Now, I saw on social media where some people were not aware of the actual meaning behind this and thought that this was very racist. There's no racism here. Not at all. I don't know where if they thought that Jey Uso's Mexican. He's not. I don't know if they've...
It's more of a black thing.
Still.
He's Hawaiian.
He's
I-
Samoan.
I don't even know what they would consider themselves.
Samoan.
Sure. Yep.
American Samoa.
American Samoan.
Yeah. American.
Samoan American.
No, he's just American. The Isles of Samoa, I believe, count towards America.
Yeah, but I think they're
They're just not
abbreviated
official
as like
states.
Samoan American.
But no, there was no racism here. This was simply a dig at Jey Uso having DUIs and Canada being very strict in who they let in. But following this line, Andrade attacks Drew from behind. Mello pushes LA Knight into Jay, and then Jay goes for a super kick on Knight, but Knight ducks it, and Mello eats the kick instead, serves him right. Man tried to pull, who was it, Kevin Harvick, that started the fight by pushing someone and then got out of there before it started.
I don't remember.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah.
He pushed, what was it, Jeff Gordon into somebody, and then those two started fighting, and he just ducked away.
He's like, yeah, I'm out. He's bigger than me.
Same energy here. Except Mello got kicked instead. Gable hits a German suplex on LA Knight. Andrade hits Gable with a big boot. And then Jay throws Andrade out of the ring and sets up for an S-dive, but Drew catches him with a shoulder tackle, and the audio and video feed are cut. Not again.
Here we go again.
Drew tries to slam Jay, but Jay escapes, and then Jay and Knight take turns punching Drew as he pinballs back and forth between them, and the crowd chants, "Yeah!" or "Yeet!" They then double clothesline Drew out of the ring, and we head backstage, where Canada's own Jackie Redmond is interviewing Bayley. Bayley calls Money in the Bank one of the most brutal matches in WWE, but also one of the most rewarding. She says that it's all about timing when it comes to cashing it in. And Chelsea Green interrupts and says that Bayley's advice is almost as boring as she is. Green says that Bayley wouldn't even be champ if she hadn't been thrown out of the match at Clash at the Castle. And Chelsea says that if she wins, she's going to be cha-ching Chelsea. Bayley tells her to come back when she actually wins a match, at which point Piper Niven attacks Bayley. The Street Profits then come out for their match against Pretty Deadly before we head into a commercial break. The Money in the Bank promo chain was interesting, but I don't think any of them will ever top the one that happened on Raw where they all just sat on top of the ladders.
Yeah, that one was pretty good.
Yeah. Then we see Bayley coming out of Nick Aldis' office, and Naomi asks if she's good. Bayley says that she's sick of them and that she just talked to Aldis, and it's her versus Piper tonight. Naomi says that she's always got Bayley's back. I mean, not if she wins Money in the Bank, she wouldn't. Or maybe she would, but, to then cash in.
She won't. You won't, bet.
It's now time for Street Profits versus Pretty Deadly. Montez Ford and Elton Prince start the match, with Ford taking control early. Kit Wilson gets a sneaky tag, and Pretty Deadly take control for a moment until Ford retakes control. Dawkins hits some punches and a spinning back elbow to Prince, followed by a punch to Wilson and then a spinning clothesline in the corner on Prince before getting a near fall. Wilson takes advantage of the ref checking on Prince to hit Dawkins with a hot shot. And then Elton Prince followed that up with a big boot as we head into the commercial break. When we come back from the break, Pretty Deadly still have control, but Dawkins hits a sunset flip pin for 2. Prince takes Dawkins down with a clothesline and goes for a corner splash, but Dawkins dodges it. Wilson tags in, though, to keep Dawkins from tagging Ford. Ford finally gets the hot tag, though, and takes the fight to Prince and Wilson. He hits a flurry of kicks and a standing moonsault for 2, and then he goes up top, but Prince hits him with an uppercut. Prince tries to go up top with Ford, but Ford just pushes him down. Dawkins makes a sneaky tag here, though. So Wilson gets on Prince's shoulders and they superplex Ford, but then Dawkins hits a swanton bomb onto Kit Wilson for a near fall with Prince having to make the save. I noted that Kit Wilson had to awkwardly just shuffle himself into position real quick for Dawkins to hit this because he landed nowhere near the drop zone.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dawkins sends Prince out of the ring, and then Kit Wilson rolls Dawkins up for 2. Dawkins shoves Wilson into Prince, and then Montez Ford soars over the top rope to take him out before rolling Wilson back into the ring, where Dawkins hits him with a spine buster, and Ford hits him with the frog splash to win. I would say, barring the awkward moving into position by Kit Wilson, the match wasn't bad at all. These are 2 very solid teams that have been teaming together long enough that they've got good chemistry together. So when the tag partners have good chemistry, that tends to translate to the matches being good. Usually.
Yeah.
We then see A-Town Down Under backstage in the locker room. Theory says that they got to make sure that they're on the same page tonight. And Waller says that he don't get why Theory doesn't trust him. Waller says that they're the undefeated tag team champions. So that shows that they're on the same page. Theory says that he's had some time to think about what Johnny said. And Waller cuts him off and said that Gargano was in his head. Waller points out that Theory didn't win any titles with Johnny. But he did once he stopped doing things Johnny's way. And then Waller runs through Austin Theory's accomplishments and says that DIY is so desperate for the titles that they're trying to turn them against each other. And then we head into a commercial break. When we come back from the break, Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae come out for their match. And then we get a flashback to the Bloodline turning on Paul Heyman last week. I noted that I got goosebumps watching this back when Heyman said that he acknowledges that Solo is not his tribal chief.
Every time.
Then Jade and Bianca come out for their match as we head into the commercial break. When we come back from the break, Jade and Indy are the active competitors. Jade takes Indy down with a super kick, and then Indy and Candice hit a flurry of tag team offense on Jade. Jade starts to fight back, but Indy maintains control and does Jade's pose. We end up getting a double down, and Bianca and Candice both get the hot tags, but Bianca's was hotter because she takes the fight to Candice. Belair hits the corner-mounted punches, and Indy tries to stop her, but Belair dodges, so Indy just runs into Candice. Belair then takes Indy down with a spine buster, as Candice goes for a diving Hurricane Rana, but Bianca just stops it, and then alley-oops Candice on top of Indy. Belair then hits her moonsault for a near fall. Jade and Bianca set up for their double team move, but Indy grabs Bianca's braid and pulls her back into the corner. LeRae then rolls Jade up for 2. Following the pinfall attempt, Jade hits a big boot to Candice LeRae, and Belair hits a forearm to Indy Hartwell. Jade lifts LeRae up for Jaded, and Belair lifts Hartwell up for the KOD in stereo, which they successfully hit, both moves, and then Jade pins Candice LeRae to win. Again, match was decent enough. There was no real, serious botches or anything.
Thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a standard match. Everything went seemingly as planned.
Finally!
Kathy Kelly then interviews Jade and Bianca says that the last few weeks have been rough, but it's time to get their tag titles back from Elba and Isla. And then Jade tells Unholy Union thanks for keeping the titles warm, but they'll be coming for them. We then get a flashback to the last few weeks of DIY and A-Town Down Under interacting before we see Cody link up with KO. Nothing on that. You just you accepting it finally?
No, I still hate it.
Oh, well, that sucks. They link up backstage, and Randy takes a peek at Cody's title as they're walking as we head into the commercial break. Following the break, Kevin Owens comes out and gets a very slight pop. Randy comes out and the crowd sings for him. And then Cody comes out and the crowd loses their goddamn minds. So Kevin Owens, the Canadian, gets just a slight pop.
You will get nothing. You lose.
Cody asks what they want to talk about. And he rattles off everything happening in Toronto with the WWE this weekend. Cody says that they're ready for a fight. And Randy says that the fight's going to end with the 3 most dangerous letters in sports entertainment. Do you know what those letters are?
RKO.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, man. Owen says that he could talk about the last 4 years of his life fighting the Bloodline, but he'd rather talk about the last 4 days because he got a call from his dad on Monday morning. I noted that the crowd starts to sing the ole, 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 ole at this point, which in hindsight, probably not the best of timing.
Yeah.
KO says that his dad told him that his mom was rushed to the hospital and that he's had to get home right away. He said that he spent the last 5 days in the hospital with his mom, and he goes on to cut an emotional promo that I can't really emulate. But the point is, he's ready to fight this weekend. And then I also noted that the people behind the announce table tonight apparently left their brains at home because every time we see Wade and Corey, they all act like idiots.
You would too if you're on TV. Wow!
I would not. I do not need to make a fool out of myself just because there's a camera there.
I will. People remember it for decades to come.
No, they won't. We also get a video package for the WWE Tag Team Championships and their lineage as we head into a commercial break. Now it's time for Bayley, accompanied by Naomi, versus Piper Niven, accompanied by Chelsea Green. They show us that Io Sky is in the front row, and I noted that Mike Rome made a good attempt at the unique way of saying Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green!
Yeah, he attempted, but it wasn't quite there. But Bayley goes right after Piper, but Piper eventually takes advantage with the power game, and the crowd sings to Bayley, albeit very, very lightly. Piper hits a senton for a near fall. Bayley hits a bulldog, but Piper rolls out of the ring. And then Bayley goes for a drop kick across the corner of the ring, but Piper stops it and ends up spinning Bayley headfirst into the post. Bayley eventually gains back control, and we see that Zoe Stark and Lyra Valkyria are also in the crowd. Bayley hits an S-dive on Piper, and then Tiffany Stratton walks down the ramp to watch the match. The crowd chants Tiffy time, because, well, it's absolutely Tiffy time. Bayley goes for the rose plant, but Piper counters it. So Bayley ends up locking in a sleeper hold, but Piper turns that into a side slam. Bayley hits a neck breaker, and Naomi starts to get the crowd fired up, but Chelsea Green doesn't like this. So Naomi and Chelsea get into it on the outside, and then Io jumps the barricade and attacks Naomi, Lyra goes to get involved, but Zoe Stark jumps the barricade and runs her down. And it kind of culminates when Tiffany Stratton hits a world's prettiest moonsault on all of them, and Piper goes for a corner splash on Bayley after this. And, or she hits a corner splash on Bayley and goes for a splash from the second rope, but Bayley dodges it and hits the rose plant to win. Bayley then turns her attention to those outside of the ring, and she gets jumped by Queen Nia from behind. Nia hits 2 leg drops and sets up for the Annihilator, but Michin attacks Nia with a kendo stick, and the match was just kind of bleh.
Nothing really to rave about.
Yeah.
You kind of knew everyone was going to get involved after they put the camera on.
Yeah, as soon as they showed on EO, we knew that everyone else was going to be there, and that's how this match was going to end, was with all that going on. They then run through the Money in the Bank card, and I'm going to have to tell you that you need to contain yourself, because Trish Stratus is going to host Money in the Bank.
Yeah, she is.
We then head into a commercial break, and when we come back, they give us a couple matches set up for next week. That being Michin versus Nia Jax again. And Baron Corbin will team with Apollo Crews to take on Berto and Anal, whatever. Whatever he goes by. But Legado del Fantasma. DIY then cut a promo about their history in Toronto before heading out to the ring for the tag title match. I noted that a fan had a sign that said DIY New Tag Team Champions, which Gargano held it up while they were entering. But when A-Town Down Under was entering, Grayson Waller took the sign and ripped it up.
Damn.
Yeah. No chill. Once the match gets underway, it's Ciampa and Waller to start. Waller takes a cheap shot on Gargano, and then all 4 of them brawl in the ring. Ciampa and Gargano hit stereo crossbodies to the outside as we head into a commercial break. When we come back, Austin Theory has control over Ciampa. Ciampa tags out, and DIY hits some double team moves. Gargano hits some mounted punches on Theory, and Waller tries to get involved, but Gargano, Jesus Christ. Waller tries to get involved, but Gargano just takes him out. Theory takes advantage of this and explodes out of the corner to take Gargano down. He hits a backbreaker to Gargano, followed by an elbow drop from Waller for a near fall. Waller sends Gargano out of the ring, and Theory goes for a knee strike against the barricade, but Gargano dodges it. Waller goes after Gargano, but Johnny takes him out with a modified Canadian Destroyer. I noted that Waller might actually be hurt from that because it looked rough.
Or he's just that good of a seller at that point.
I mean, possibly. Wade Barrett even noted that he may have gotten a stinger and that he's had that happen before, and like your arm just goes numb for a few minutes or like a short time. Pass.
You gotta run it off.
Yeah, pass. I will gladly go my whole life without having to experience that. Theory rolls Gargano back into the ring, and Gargano rolls him up for 2. Johnny then rolls Theory up again for another near fall. He goes to tag Ciampa, but Waller pulls him down before he can make the tag. Theory hits a neck breaker for a near fall as we head into a commercial break, the final one of the night. When we come back from the break, Gargano has control, and Waller counters the shoulder tackle with a knee. Waller and Theory go for a double team, but Gargano ducks the punch, causing Waller to take out Theory instead. Gargano rolls Waller up for 2. Then DIY hit a shatter machine on Grayson Waller for a near fall. DIY set up for meat in the middle, but Theory pulls Gargano out of the ring and sends him into the announce table. Waller dodges Ciampa as well. Ciampa rolls up Waller, but Theory breaks the pin with a drop kick to Waller, or to Ciampa. Waller hits the flipping unprettier on Ciampa for a near fall, with Gargano having to make the save. Theory and Gargano trade punches till Waller walks up and clocks Gargano. Johnny goes for a super kick, but Waller moves, leaving Theory to take it. Waller hits a jumping knee strike on Gargano following this, and Ciampa hits Project Ciampa on Waller, and DIY then hits Meat in the middle, but they only get a 2 count because Theory gets Waller's foot under the rope. Theory takes out Ciampa, and Gargano hits an S-dive on Theory. Waller rolls Gargano up with a fistful of trunks for a near fall. I then noted that, following this, Gargano locks in the Gargano escape on Waller, who was about to tap, but Theory grabbed his hand to stop him. Definitely an interesting creative way to keep your partner from tapping out.
Take my hand.
While Gargano has Waller in the Gargano escape, Ciampa locks in the Sicilian stretch on Theory, and both Austin Theory and Grayson Waller tap out, meaning that DIY are the new tag champs. I got Finn on Monday, and now DIY on Friday, so hell yeah. Like, hell yeah, dude.
I got some banana bread at work today, dude. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. And it was just a really good match.
I really enjoyed it. But I thought that was DX.
No, R-Truth actually also made that mistake, so I can understand where you're coming from. But I
thought Johnny Gargano was running NXT.
No, see, again, R-Truth thinks the same thing, so I can see how you would get that mixed up. But it is, in fact, DIY that won the tag titles.
I don't know. Gargano's looking a lot like HBK. I just can't believe that HBK is still wrestling.
And see, again, that's I can see where you're getting this. R-Truth sees it the same way. It's actually not. It is HBK that runs NXT. Triple H runs the main roster shows. And Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, DIY, just won the tag titles.
Those are good guys, you know.
Yeah.
Can't believe that Ciampa gets that big role in the office there. Gosh. What a time to be alive. Here I thought DIY were going to be tag champions, but they're running NXT and WWE kind of. Gorsh.
Then to wrap up the show, we finally hear from the new tribal chief, Solo Sikoa. I noted that Tongaloa must have forgot to pay the power bill, because the bloodline comes to us via satellite from a dark room with the only light being what shines in from outside.
Damn, bloodline really lost all their money when Roman Reigns left.
Yeah. Solo tells us that the Ulafala makes him the tribal chief. He says that Roman wasn't man enough to beat Cody and defend their title at Mania. Therefore, he can no longer call himself the tribal chief. Defend their title? Their title.
Theirs, huh?
Yeah, it was a group effort.
I mean, it was, and they all sucked at defending it.
Yeah. Solo says he's the tribal chief now, and he's going to win back the undisputed WWE Championship from Cody Rhodes. And if Roman wants it back, he can try and take it from him. Lulz. This is like when your mom says that you have a tribal chief at home.
We have a tribal chief at home.
Yeah, and it's Solo. Solo says he's coming for Cody, and that Cody will acknowledge him. And that's how the show ends. So,
Damn.
yeah. So we thinking Solo versus Cody for the undisputed title at SummerSlam?
Yes, but I think that would be the time that Roman Reigns returns.
I think so too. I think Roman's going to come back at SummerSlam.
And then he's just going to either stand there on the apron and watch, or he's going to get directly involved. I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Before we wrap this up, though, a quick look at our predictions ahead of Money in the Bank. We both have Braun Breaker predicted to defeat Sami Zayn and become the new Intercontinental Champion. You've got Chelsea Green as your prediction to win the women's.
That's not how you
Money
say
in
her
the Bank.
name.
I cannot say her name the way that Samantha Irvin says her name.
You got it.
Yeah, it took me a minute. Meanwhile, I've got the center of the universe, Tiffany Stratton, as my prediction to win Money in the Bank, because it's Tiffy time. Over on the men's side of things, you're predicting DM Hunk to achieve his goal of winning Money in the Bank. Meanwhile, I'm predicting Jey Uso to pick up the win after CM Punk screws Drew McIntyre out of it. Like, I'm envisioning Drew at the top of the ladder, hands on the briefcase, and then the ladder tips over, and we see that it was CM Punk that tipped it over.
He was the cameraman.
I don't think he was. I'm not saying he's the cameraman. He might be the Muffin Man, though.
Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man!
Jesus Christ, I was not ready for that. For the World Heavyweight Championship match of Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins, we both got Damian Priest set to retain there. And then the main event of Cody Rhodes teaming up with RKO to take on the... You good?
You just said it again.
Yeah? That's what gets you off?
No, that's definitely not what that was meant for.
I don't know, man. They take on the Bloodline. That's seemingly going to be Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu. We both have the Bloodline projected to go over. Yeah. So, I definitely feel like the Bloodline needs this win here. After introducing Jacob Fatu,
All the
they
new
can't.
characters.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't.
You gotta build up credibility.
Yeah. Solo as the new tribal chief and Jacob Fatu, they gotta pick up the win here. They can't fall short, or it will kill any credibility that they might even get. So.
For the short amount of time, that'll be just them.
Yeah. And as we head into Money in the Bank, the score currently sits at you ahead with 19 points, and I'm right on your tail, right on your heels with 18 points. So there's only one match where, or I guess there's two matches where they differ. So you could potentially pull ahead by 2 points, or I could pull ahead by, or you could pull ahead by 3 points, and I could pull ahead by 1 point. In a perfect prediction.
Why is it so spicy?
That concludes the SmackDown recap. Once again, I've been Dylan Graives. He's been John Sutton. This has been WrestleRecap. If you want to support WrestleRecap, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can comment down below and let us know how we've been doing. You can click on the video. Should be floating on your screen somewhere. But until next time, goodbye.